Hi folks, it is Wednesday, July 23rd. Can't believe half the summer is already gone. But here we are again. This is our second weekly hangout. My name is Mark Blinderman. I'm a registered investment advisor and managing partner at Walnut Investment Services here in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. Today I want to talk to you about what I would call, I guess, best investment advice I've ever got. I started investing over 30 years ago when I was still in college. In fact, my first investment was $300 worth of Chrysler stock back in, I think, 81 or 82 when the company was on its way out, and the legendary Lee Iacocca came on the scene, and with a little bit of help from Uncle Sam rescued the company. And my stock at the time of I think it was $3 a share, and just a short time later, perhaps a year or so, it became $9 and continued on higher. But you can imagine what it was like for a 19-year-old to invest $300 and see it go up to 900 in a fairly short time. So ever since then, I developed this great interest in all things related to investing. Eventually it became my profession, my career. So today I want to talk to you about best investment advice I ever got. And this is just a compilation, I guess, of some wisdom acquired over the years, thanks to many different people that I came across within the industry, many legendary investors like Peter Lynch and Warren Buffett and Ben Graham, and the books that I've read. So let me start. I guess we'll make it a list of 10. And the first one, of course, is just start an account and try to suck away a little bit of money into that account. Whether it's just a regular investment account, call it play money, whatever you prefer, or a retirement account like we discussed in our last hangout, perhaps an IRA account or a 401k account and so forth, and just put away a little bit of money each and every month or every quarter, whatever you decide, as long as you just stick to these periodic contributions. And you'll be pleasantly surprised how time, a combination of time and dollar cost averaging, will work magic for you. The second advice is actually, I just cited Peter Lynch, who's he's a legendary manager of the Fidelity Magellan Fund. He once wrote a book called One Up on Wall Street. And it was just a very interesting read in general, but somebody who's interested in investing in particular, it did have a lot of great gems, a lot of great wisdom. So if I could, I guess, filter it through the whole, through the entire book, I guess the main point of it is buy what you know. Okay, and by saying that, I mean buy stuff that you regularly use, stuff that you buy. Okay, so in other words, buy stocks and companies that you know, companies that you like, whose products or services that you use and you like. It's a great concept. I mean, there's thousands of companies out there that are listed publicly and whose stock you could buy, but I think there is some logic to buying stocks and companies that you yourself patronize. The next advice is control your emotions. A stock market is one of those things that often gives people agita and makes them lose sleep. But getting all excited and getting all emotional is not going to help you make money and save for retirement. So develop a plan, stick to it. and try to not let your emotions get in the way. The next point, I think, would probably be a little bit more technical, and that has to do with rebalancing your portfolio. Do that periodically. One of the main reasons that you want to do this is you want to be opportunistic. I mean, obviously, timing the market is not an easy thing to do, but you do have to review your portfolio, and you do have to take advantage of certain market conditions that favor certain industries, certain stocks during certain time of the year. And as you begin to invest, as you become a little bit more adept in that sort of thing, you will learn that there are certain trends and certain tendencies. So capitalize on them, take advantage of them, and do rebalance your portfolio. Okay, the next point is, and I think this is very poignant, not only from the point of view investing as an individual, but in general, and that is beware of debt, both personal debt as well as debt as pertains to the companies that you're investing in. Okay, debt is just, you know, I understand sometimes it's a necessary thing. Most of us cannot probably live in modern society without incurring some type of debt. Biggest one of which, of course, is, let's say, a mortgage when we buy our place to live, our home, or an apartment. Very few of us are able to afford to buy it for cash. But other than that, I think it's a big no-no. It's to be avoided at all costs. And the same, like I said, applies to your, should be your personal philosophy, and also as it applies to the companies that you're investing in. As an investment manager, I often walk away from investing in companies that may, on the surface, offer a lot of potential, I suppose. But when I look at the underlying numbers, if I see the companies heavily leveraged, heavily in debt, I usually would walk away. I usually would not buy the stock in that particular company, because in any downturn, economic downturn or industry downturn, that debt is just going to sink the company. And we have seen it many, many times over the years. Some of the best, biggest names have gone under because they were over leveraged. The next piece of advice, I guess, would be to learn from your mistakes. Okay, I mean, we all make them. It's a necessary part of life. In fact, I consider them great education. I mean, of course, it's always better to, you know, we tend to learn quickly from our own mistakes, but I think we're ahead of the game if we learn from other people's mistakes. So keep that in mind, and obviously try to avoid them, but if you can't, try to learn from them and move on. Next point, everybody, I guess, heard of Warren Buffett, legendary investor, founder of Berkshire Hathaway Company, I guess the Oracle of Omaha, they call him, and clearly the man deserves the reputation that he has. So one of the valuable pieces of advice I ever got from reading his books is not to forget that buying a stock, that a stock of a company represents an ownership in a company. It's not just a number that blinks on your computer screen up and down and so on and so forth. So keep that in mind, and that kind of leads me back to the original, one of the points I made earlier is that when you do your research, okay, you know, buy buy value, buy something that you truly would feel good about having an ownership in. Moving along is I guess the next valuable point, I think, and something that's probably still fresh in everyone's mind, is crisis equals opportunity. Okay, as somebody who's been in this business for quite a long time, I've seen a lot of ups and downs in the marketplace. And the latest crisis, of course, was that financial crisis and the stock market crash of 2008, 2009. As painful as it was to see, as disturbing as it was emotionally for many people, it did represent a great opportunity for many to wade into the market. In fact, a lot of my clients were advised to put whatever available cash they had at the time. We're talking spring of 2009, when the market reached its low. We kind of issued a call to everyone to step in and use whatever cash was just sitting on the sidelines to add to their positions or to buy new positions. And of course, we didn't know whether or not the market was going to continue to slide, but having seen it lose nearly 50% of its value in the previous few months, I think the logic dictated that this is a good opportunity, and in fact, it proved to be true. So those people who stepped into the market at that time, who were already in the market, they obviously recouped their losses a lot quicker. And the people who just started investing at that time clearly has seen their accounts grow substantially. In fact, I think from spring of 2009 until today, the S&P and the Dow are up about 250% since those lows of the spring of 2009. So keep that in mind. Crisis does equal opportunity. While we cannot avoid these periodic shakeouts in the marketplace, when they do occur, take advantage of them. The next thing I wanted to mention is, and I guess again it kind of harkens back to the point about emotions and so forth. Don't compete with the woulda, shoulda, coulda crowd. Okay. Don't dwell on your mistakes. Don't worry about missed opportunities. Stick to your plan. Don't get distracted by what others say or do. Okay, remember, there will always be new opportunities. And I think that pretty much sums it up. I mean, I could probably talk about a lot more points, but I just don't want to overwhelm you. But I think these are probably some of the most valuable pieces of advice I ever read or got from people that I've encountered in this field. So with that in mind, I will conclude this hangout, and I hope to see you next week. I will post the subject matter that I plan to discuss next week, so be on the lookout for it, and take care. Thank you. Mr. Moskowensky, are you with us?
Hello. Yes, I'm with you. Good to see you, Mark, as
Okay.
always. And I appreciate the opportunity for joining you here today. So
Okay.
I'm going to launch right into my little deal. Let me just pull it up real quick here. And so today I wanted to talk briefly about a little bit of magic. You know, the investment game, some people might consider that to be magic, as I mentioned in my preview. But at the same time, you know, there's some magic you can do online as well. And today I want to talk specifically, let me just start up the demo here, my screen share. I want to talk specifically about, let's see, think that's what we see. Can you see the presentation now?
Yep, not searching Google search.
Right. So if you can please blue box my presentation by clicking on my little button below. So, okay, that means it will record only this. This way, if you sneeze, it's not going to switch to your picture. All right, so what I want to talk today about is that, everybody knows that Google search exists, obviously. I mean, that's nothing new, nothing magic about that. But I want to talk about some of the other uses of Google search that some of you may or may not know. So, moving right along here.
Oleg, see if you can increase your volume.
Volume.
Yeah, you sound a
This
little
better. How's that? Better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Good.
All right. So if you look at normal use of Google search, when you type in something in the actual search box, you see usually, one of two things happen. And can you see my little second screen there?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, for example, I can just type in search for Walnut Investment Services, for example, and it's going to give me a bunch of links and stuff, linking to Mark's company and things related to Mark, things like that. So it's just regular search. Also, what I can do is in this search box, or omnibar as they call it, which is also duplicates as that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to markswalnutfund.com, which is his website, and if I type in the actual URL, as you can see, it's going to go ahead and come up with Mark's website. So we can either do a search for something, or we can type in the specific URL, and it's all done from the same bar at the top here. It's called Omnibar in Chrome. Okay, so everybody knows that. Okay. So the magic part is not to be able to do these two things. The magic part comes in some other stuff. So let's see what else we can do here. So one of the things that's cool about it is Google implemented a bunch of different features in there. For example, one of the things we can do is search for Gmail emails directly from Chrome. When I say from Chrome, directly from the search bar. Let me show you what I mean by that. I can go and put up a browser right here, and I can simply type in here something like, give me some topic, Mark.
You're talking about any search topic?
Anything, just give me some topic.
Okay, punch in Warren Buffett.
Yeah, I don't think I have any emails on Warren Buffett. How about we just type in your name, Mark Linderman?
Okay.
As you can see at the top there, it says search Gmail search, right? So I type in that, and all of a sudden now, from just the top view, I didn't go to special programs or anything, my email pulls up, and now you will see on the screen all the emails, and there's quite a few of them, that have there are marks. There's chats, there's emails, everything. So if I wanted to do the same thing, let's do a search for example, fractional software. I have some messages dealing with that. I type that in, again, it'll pull up my, but even though I tapped it right in a regular address bar, or omnibar as they call it, it comes up with my Gmail, and then whatever I'm looking for can be visible as soon as it comes up here.
So this does not
there, and there is everything to do with that particular topic is automatically shows me all the emails for that particular topic. Okay?
You do not
so very convenient.
have to be in Gmail to do that.
No. Remember, I was doing as initially. Remember, I went here, which is just regular Google.com, right. And I typed in whatever I want to search for, and then it goes ahead searching for that in my email. Okay? So you're doing it from the same bar. Okay. So how do you do something like that? Well, the way you do it is you need to set up your a certain search engine, basically. In Google, if you go to, in Chrome, I should say, not in Google, but in Chrome, if you go to settings, let me show you exactly how to set this up. If you go to settings, So you click and pull down the menu and then select settings right here. Then you have an option here called Manage Search Engines under the search category. You see that? So if you click on Manage Search Engines, it gives you a list of all kinds of different things, and you don't have to worry about them. What you do is you scroll to the bottom, and you enter into these boxes 3 different things. First thing is you give it some name. In my case, I call it a Gmail search. You can call it anything you want. It's just visual. Okay? Second thing is you give it some sort of keyword you want to use. You can use a couple letters, you can use a whole word, whatever, however you want to refer to it, physically. And then the third thing, you have to give it a certain URL that needs to be specific for that particular application to work correctly. And then even though it's not a search engine, it'll act using search approach right from the Omnibar. So in my case, to be able to do this, let me just move this out of the way so you can see it, all you have to do is set up that third line to have this code in there. It says https://mail.google.com/mail/ca/u/g0. In other words, copy this particular line exactly as I have it. I'm going to leave it in the screen for a minute, and I'm also going to post it directly into the as a comment after we get done with this Hangout, so you can copy it from there. But essentially, you just put that command line in there. So you give it some name that you want to give it, just so it looks nice when it comes up. You give it the key code. In my case, the key code I gave it is, I think I called it GS. Not I think, I know I did. So if I type in GS and put in a space, it immediately changes the top bar there to say Gmail search, right? And then I type in my search string, whatever it might be. So we'll look for, I don't know, what should we look for? Ben Mostolansky, for my son, for example. Of course, you can look for subjects. It doesn't have to be people. It could be anything you want. And then as soon as you type it, it's going to go ahead and pull up your Gmail automatically. I mean, I'm not doing anything. Hands up. You can't see my hands, but I'm not typing anything. I'm not doing anything. And there's all the stuff related to Ben. You know, his messages, his, all kinds of different things. Okay? So that's one way you can do with this capability directly from the Omnibar. It's just a one-time setup, and you're set to go. Another thing you can do, you can also do something like this, which is you can actually create a brand new message directly from the Omnibar. So I'll give you an example right there. Let's say I close these windows here, and I just go to, let's just pull up a brand new window, so you can see nothing is running right now, just the regular Gmail. Not Gmail, I'm sorry, regular Google search. Okay? And let's say at this point in time, I type in something like, in my case, I call it Gmail Compose GC. So I type in GC, and I put in a space, and you see it changes to say Gmail Compose. And I type in manager at walnutfund.com, and I hit enter. Once I hit enter, you will see it automatically load Gmail, and automatically launch the Compose window, and automatically put Mark's email address directly into the to area. So all I have to do is type in my subject, whatever I want, type in my text, and then just simply click send, and that's it. So in other words, you initiate the email directly from the same Omnibar. Okay? So, and the way you do that is by going to same settings for search engines in Chrome, as I showed you, and setting up the command to be something that looks like this. Mail to : TO equals %S. That's it. That's all you need to do for it to work. And you give it some kind of preposition or some kind of character that you want to identify, or multiple characters or words to do it. And then that way, if you're doing a lot of searching in Google, you don't have to be jumping from email and back and forth. You can just do directly from search, or just because you're sitting in search and your Gmail is not up, it'll force it to come up and do this. So that's another handy thing you can do directly from the Omnibar in Chrome. Another thing that you can do that's also kind of handy is dealing with Gmail. So not only do you deal with Gmail, like I just showed you, for searching or creating your messages, if you put in this particular string here, and the only thing here, if you notice it says here, from plus your plus address, substitute the your address part with actual your address itself. Okay? Everything else will leave exactly as I have it, but substitute where it says your plus address and leave everything else exactly as is. If you do that, like in my case, I set up a direct, the word like directions. I put in the word direct for sure. So if I type in direct and I put in a space, it says search directions from home. And I just type in something like Walnut Investment Services, Brooklyn, New York, for example, and I hit enter. What this Omnibar is going to do, the magic part, is going to crank up Google Maps here in a second, and then it's going to actually give me directions from my house directly to Mark. And you can see it's only going to take me 5 hours and $524 to appear at his doorstep. How's that for cool? Slick. So as you can see right there, I can get directions, flights, everything directly from this display right here. Okay? So all of that with this one command, I just type in direct and give it my destination, that's it. If I want to do the same thing, let's say I wanted to do, since I'm living in the land of Google, let's say I type in something like direct from my home to Google Kirkland, for example, the home of Google Hangout people. Then you can see it will show up that for me to get to our Google office is a mere short ride on the car, only 16 minutes away. Okay? So that's how far I am from Google here in Kirkland. So in other words, you can type in any destination and it does it from my house because I programmed, that's what I was saying before, that I put into this command, just one line command you put in there, I put in my address as the from point. Basically it says, you know, go ahead and use the maps, and it says from, and then it shows my address, and then to the destination will be based on whatever you type in the search string. Okay, and that's how it works. So all you have to do is to change this, and then whenever you need to give quick directions to anywhere from your business or from your home, of course you can set up multiple of these. So you can have direction from business, direction from home, you know, however you want to set it up. But the beauty is you don't have to be constantly selecting your home address over and over every time you go to Maps to get directions. You can just directly type in the Omnibar something like, you know, I use the word direct, you can use directions, you can use directions from home, you can use D, whatever you want to use as the command, and that's how the thing will work, which is very slick and handy.
Huh.
Okay, next cool thing you can do, next piece of magic is calendar. What you can do is you can actually type in a command, like right now the command is add event for Friday at 12 p.m., lunch with Mark in Bellevue. It's all one line, by the way. You do need the colon, but it's on one line. If I type this directly in the Omnibar, so let's bring up Omnibar. Okay, and let's get rid of these windows here, because you've already seen that, and pull up a fresh new display here, new tab. And I'm just going to go ahead and type in the same thing. I'm going to say create event for Thursday at 1 p.m. colon, and I'll put in meeting with Mark about investments in Bellevue, for example. Okay? It's a hint for Mark to come visit me. If I hit enter, then what you will see will happen is it will come up on the screen. It says create event 1 to 1:30 p.m. It automatically does half hour. Of course, you can always adjust it later. It says meeting with Mark about investments Bellevue. So if I click on create, it still didn't do anything until I actually hit create. So at that point, I hit create button. I'm done. And if you want to see what it actually did, I can go to my event, and you can see in the calendar now that there is an event. And that event is for Thursday, because I told you I wanted to do on Thursday, July 24th, 1 to 1:30 p.m. It says the event is going to be happening in Bellevue, because that's what I indicated, and I can get a map to that. And if I want, I can add however many people I want to invite or anything else. But essentially, you don't have to go to the actual editing of the event. If I didn't do this, if I simply didn't click on this edit event, but went to my calendar, let's say, just bring up a calendar to show you, after I clicked on create, then you would see on Thursday, somewhere in here, 1 p.m. right here, is this meeting with Mark about investments. See, it sets it up, and Bellevue, all of that.
all ready to go. I don't have to do anything in the calendar, and it goes ahead and puts it in there. So the bottom line here is this simple to use this Omnibar command. We say add event. Notice that I typed in create event, not add event. They're synonyms. You can use either one. You can also say create a meeting or appointment or things like that. There's a bunch of different words you can use, but if you want to use event, it's less typing that way. And you just simply indicate for which day. You can put the actual day or date, and you indicate the time. Make sure you put in the colon. It's important to have the colon at the end here. And then you continue in the same line. You don't have to put on 2 lines. You're saying whatever the actual thing is, and you're indicating in wherever the location will be, if you know what it is. So you put that directly, as I just did in Omnibar, and you get it as an event in your calendar. So now you're using search for Gmail searches, for composing new emails, and using the same basically place to create, to be able to utilize all the tools from within using Google searches search bar, which is pretty slick. Next one I'm going to show you is the one they just recently added, where you're able to create Google Now reminders directly by using voice. I mean, you've always been able to use voice on your phone and stuff. By the way, all of these things that are directly going through the search box can be done using voice, both in desktop and the mobile devices. So you don't have to type it, you can actually use your voice. But a lot of times, when you try to create a reminder, you may not be able to speak at the time because a bunch of people around you, so you can type it in. So you can actually type something like this in. For example, I'm going to put in, remind me to watch PCS videos tomorrow. So you can put this for yourself. I got the wrong window, sorry. So over here we say, remind me to watch PCS videos tomorrow. If I type that in, hit enter, notice that it comes up with create reminder here, and it says tomorrow, which is exactly the date I asked for. Morning is fine, you can change it if you want when. So that's one way to do it. Like, click on remind me now, and Google will create a reminder right there. Boom, done. Now my phone will chime tomorrow morning, and I'll get the reminder as Google usually reminds me now. Okay? Another thing I could do is I could say remind me to buy Milano cookies next, when I'm at Safeway. So when I'm at Safeway. Okay, now what's going to happen is going to give me a different version. Basically, it says, buy Milano cookies. Now we're having a where thing. It gives me a location of this particular Safeway, which is the closest to me. And so what's going to happen if I click on remind me on Google Now, it's going to go ahead and create a reminder, but what it's going to do is going to use GPS. So next time I'm around that location, around that Safeway, or directly in the Safeway, that's when it's going to remind me to go ahead and buy Milano cookies. Okay? It's not going to tell me if I want to get Milanos with orange flavor or just plain chocolate, but it will remind me to buy Milano cookies. So it's pretty slick. Jokes aside, it's a really, really convenient way to do it. And the way you do it, they remind me, and then you put in whatever you want to remind yourself of, and you indicate when or where, one of the two. Okay? So that's the command that you use for such. And with that, those are the main things I kind of wanted to run by everybody here, and I want to thank you for taking the time to look into this. I think these are very useful. You can, create all of them fairly easily. Some of them you create one time, you just use. The other ones you actually type in every time you want to do it, like reminders. And as I mentioned, you can do it on mobile devices, you can do it on desktop now, and you can do it using either your voice, by clicking a little microphone, or you can do it by typing it in. If you have any questions about this or any other IT-related things, you can grab me on my Google Plus profile or my Productive Computer Systems page, the second one right there on the screen. And with that, I want to thank Mark for allowing me to chime in today on his program. And basically, that's all I have for today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Oleg. Always a pleasure to have you join me here. I don't feel that alone when when I know you're out there as well. So, folks, thanks again very much for joining us. Oleg is your go-to man with any questions related related to IT, computers, internet, anything of that nature. So looking forward to our next hangout, and goodbye for now.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.